It's my very first Victober, and am I going easy on the TBR? Hell no. Go hard or go home. So, for those that don't know, Victober is this little known event on BookTube that everybody does. I first heard of it last year, but I didn't participate. However, this year the hype has well and truly got to me, and I am very, very excited to be putting together a TBR for it. So Victober, as the name would suggest, is reading Victorian literature throughout the month of October. There are 5 lovely co-hosts, and each one of them has a prompt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the host, prompt and book, and there are 5 of those, and then I will talk about the group book, and then that will be my TBR. So the first host on my list, just as it happens to be, is Kate Howe, and her prompt is to read a book that features chronic illness or has disability representation in it. So I would just like to mention also that all of these hosts have recommendation videos for their prompt, and that has helped me no end, because I was not still am not in any way well versed in all the Victorian literature out there. If you say Victorian literature to me, I'm like, oh yeah, Dickens. So I'm educating myself, but check out all of their announcement videos. I'll link them down below. And yeah, so one of the suggestions for this prompt was Olive by Dinah, Craik, and it sounded really interesting. So I think it's sort of a coming of age, but with a girl who has a twisted spine, and it just sounded really interesting. It had pretty positive comments from the hosts that talked about it, and I'd never heard of it before. So I thought, I'm going to add that one to the TBR. We're going to give that one a go. The second prompt was from Katie at Books and Things, and her prompt is to read a coming of age story. There is some sort of posh word for this. Check out her channel. I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. We're just going to call it a coming of age story. And for this, I'm going to read The Mill on the Floss by George Elliot. I am buddy reading this with Emily from Novell Novels. We've had this in the diary for a while, and it fits this prompt apparently. I know very little about this book. I've never read any George Elliot before, so I'm not sure if this is a great place to start or not, but this is where I'm starting. So yeah, we're going to give this one a go in October, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And then Marissa at Blatantly Bookish, her prompt is to read a short story. So I'm generally not into short stories. However, I decided to treat myself to a beautiful edition. It hasn't arrived yet, so I'm going to have to put a picture up of Ghostly Tales, spine-chilling stories from the Victorian age. And it's illustrated and it looks stunning, and I couldn't resist. So I thought, if anything's going to make me love short stories, it's pretty pictures. And I think there's Charles Dickens in here, there's Elizabeth Gaskell, there's M.R. James. So there's loads of different Victorian authors featured within this, and it's all sort of spooky gothic tales, which I really like, plus it's October, so it fits quite well. And I am going to vlog reading this, and I'm going to sort of rate the short stories within it. So stay tuned for that little piece of Victober content at some point, probably towards the end of October. Then Petra Yu, who is a new host for this year, and I hadn't discovered before this, so very much excited to see more of her content, asked us to choose a Victorian book that has a screen adaptation. And for this, I'm going to read Lady Audley's Secret by Mary Elizabeth Braddon, and I'm buddy reading this one, I think, with Nikki at Red Dot Reads and Mitzi at Mitzi Reads and Writes. We haven't firmed up, so I think we're still reading it. It's in the spreadsheet. So this was like a sensation novel back in the day, and I've been wanting to get to it for ages. And it does have a film that was released in 2000. I think it has an older film as well, like a 1920s film. So it fits perfectly. It was, like I say, already in the diary. So yeah, I'll be reading that one. And I may also do a Elliot versus Braddon video. We'll see. Sort of akin to the Hardy versus Austen, if you saw that video that I put out a few weeks ago. So yeah, so we've got that coming. And then the final host is the delightful Roz at Scally Dangling About the Books. She is also a new host for this year, and I was so delighted to see that she was hosting because I love her channel so much. If you haven't checked out Roz, you are missing out because she is exceptionally clever and delightful and just she's just so heartwarming. She's like a hug in a video, so check her out if you haven't already. But then I was like, what is Roz's prompt? Poetry I was like, no, I hate poetry. But there is a happy ending. Roz recommended loads of poetry to suit any kind of person, and she gave us loads of links, so really check her video out if, like me, you're a poetry atheist. Because yeah, there's just she suggests things for all levels of poetry readers. I can't recommend her video highly enough. And one of the poems that she suggested, which I didn't actually realise was A, a poem, and B, Victorian, was The Owl and the Pussycat. So I know it as a nursery rhyme, you know, the owl and the pussycat went to see the beautiful pea green boat, that one. But apparently it's an actual poem, so I'm going to read that at the very least. However, because she did recommend lots of free resources, so it's not like I have to spend money on books that I'm not going to like, I am also going to try a bit of Christina Rossetti. I know that Shelley over at Shelley Swearingen has read some of her stuff this year and really enjoyed it. I don't always link up with Shelley on some of the more intelligent reads, but I am willing to give it a go based on the fact that Shelley likes it and Roz recommended it. I also have a complete bind up on my Kindle of all of Thomas Hardy's work, including some of his poems, so I'll probably try some of those as well. I'm not sure whether I'll do any sort of content around it. It depends on how I get on. But yeah, so I will try a few different bits and pieces. I will dip my toe into the poetry pond, as they say. I don't think anyone says that, but I do now. And so that is the 5 prompts. Was that 5? That was 5. But there is also a group read which I'm super excited for because it is The Mayor of Casterbridge by Thomas Hardy. I have really enjoyed the Thomas Hardy I have read before now, so very much want to read more of his stuff, so I will be picking that up also in October. Just FYI, like I just mentioned, I picked up the entire works of Thomas Hardy, all his novels, short stories and poetry for 99p on Kindle. So if you're saving the pennies for Christmas, like some of us, and don't want to spend a fortune on books, you can literally pick up like all of Thomas Hardy's work, and he would fit quite a lot of these prompts. So yeah, I think that's it. As I say, I'm very much looking forward to this. Have a few contenty pieces planned around Victober, and yeah, I'd love to know if you guys are also taking part, and I will leave my Hardy versus Austen video linked just here for you, and I will see you all very soon with another one. Bye guys.